Glory together.
It's showtime.
Good morning. Wake up, everyone. It is a beautiful morning. 70 degrees out there. I'll tell you more in just a moment. But what are you looking for?
I was looking for my autographed copy of Gambling with Eternity, The Loser Wins. We got that loser up here today. He's back in action, too. We'll talk to him in just a moment. The legendary right there, skinny Dusty McLemore, man. We'll talk with Dusty in just a moment. He's been on vacation, but today I saw him. He was sweating like he'd been working all day. He's bragging about it, too. But yes, today is his first day back in action. And, Zack, you know what today is? 1 month from today, don't you?
31 days. Woohoo! Alabama football.
Alabama, Auburn, everybody kicks off that first day.
I heard you the first word, Alabama. The other one
Was that in this day?
Sorry, Brad.
You have to branch out just a little bit.
Got to be politically correct.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about here this morning. Thank y'all for getting up with us. Y'all got a little rain last night. Laura's going to fill you in on the weather forecast right now.
That's right. We have rain in the forecast again today, but 70 degrees out there. It's not looking bad at all. It's going to be a beautiful day. We do have 40% chance of showers in the forecast, though, and like we said, those are those scattered summer showers, so welcome to summertime. High temperatures today of 81. There's, in fact, a chance of rain. Look at that forecast. Have you seen 7 days total chance of rain every day? And that's about a 40 to 50% chance. Some of you will see it. Some of us won't, unfortunately. But don't forget, savewithgloria.com if you're looking for a mortgage or you want to refinance, get pre-qualified, or even new construction loans. I can certainly help you out with hometown lenders.
Boy, it must be nice to be able to get a month off from work and just, lay around the house, travel, go down to the beach, hang out on the river, just do all kind of stuff like that.
It's because he works
Is that
hard.
right? I wouldn't know.
Well, that's what I thought it was supposed to be. Right?
Yeah, that's what I thought, too.
You walk in, you lost weight. The day I saw you, man, it was like 95 degrees. You were out there digging in the dirt and
Yeah, we had some.
painting, staining.
You know what? You didn't see his latest project that he just completed.
Well, he sent me something, but I forgot what it was.
It's a water feature.
A
Water.
Fountain.
You told me
I
that you was
built
going
a
to
water
put one
fountain.
up. Yeah, that's what that was.
Yeah.
A mural of me out there on
Yeah.
the wall. Yeah, you put it up out there. So how was your month
Not
off
quite.
besides all that work?
It was really good. It really is. It's refreshing and renewing. That's one of the purposes of sabbaticals, get away. And, just getting away from all the things going on, you can see it differently. And so you get a chance to just to reflect on that, but also just to get away from the schedule. That's the greatest thing to me about the sabbatical, is getting away from schedule and all that, and just having time to do some things that I needed to do. I put on the back burner some projects at our home that we were, we had 3 major projects that we accomplished, so we did that, and I lost some weight in doing it, just sweating.
She didn't feed you while you was working.
No, she didn't. I didn't want anything.
Patsy was
That's the
cracking
thing about it.
that
I
whip.
didn't even
You're
want to
busy.
eat. Just the sweat. Oh my word! I went through a lot of clothes.
Well, it was
Sweating.
That day we saw you that Saturday, it was definitely
We were like, why didn't you wait till it was hot to get out here and do all this
something
work?
a little warmer. Like that. So are you back in action tonight?
Back in action today. Be there today at church, and got the visitation tonight at church on our first Wednesday. So I'm looking forward to meeting with my staff this morning and doing devotion with them and just hanging out with the staff today. And got a lot going on. Got a funeral to attend today. Got to do a funeral here coming up.
We'll talk about that in a little bit, too.
Back in the saddle.
Back in the saddle, and also coming up this Sunday's a special day. Supposed to invite a bunch of people to church because somebody's going to be talking about the testimony.
Yep, it's our annual family day. And so I'm going to share my testimony. I do that about every 4 or 5 years, about 5 years since I've done my testimony. So I'm going to share my testimony and really invite a lot of people, friends of mine, and that are lost. A lot of them don't know Christ yet. And so I'm inviting a lot of those, and just friends, neighbors, relatives, and just encourage all of our people to do that and just to get them under the Word of God. Just see, the testimony is you've been through a test. That you have a testimony. So anyway, just the things that God's done in my life that I think can share and help people. And so that's what I want to do Sunday.
So the whole service is going to be talking about you?
It's going to be about my testimony.
Go ahead
Not
and
the
tell
whole
them what you
service.
said.
Sunday, Todd and
Big kind of
Zack.
like Cooper and Company.
And I said, I've heard that testimony several times before. I'm just going to hi-hat the service, I think, coming up Sunday.
And what did your pastor say?
Well, you like
Skip
that
that.
word hi-hat, don't you?
I borrowed that. Well, I first heard it from your brother, from your son-in-law Chuck.
Yeah.
He hi-hat me back several years ago.
Now I
Yeah.
hear everybody
I
say
know.
Now, everywhere I go, somebody said, well, you hi-hat. Every time I go, somebody's using it. You used it in a sermon not long
I sure
ago.
did.
John Lauderdale.
I heard it
Blew up-
exactly.
blew up with that.
But a guy we never hi-hat.
What was the response that Dusty gave you when you said I might just hi-hat that? You'd
Probably
be dead
did.
meat if you do that.
Probably.
That's right. He did me.
Probably need to show
It's
up.
another term. Dead
Yeah.
meat.
All right, hey, let's go to the man who can't wait. It's
Oh.
30 days away, 31 days actually,
31
to
days.
kick off on
Yes,
September
sir.
1st. The man who could eat a bucket full of KFC all by and wouldn't even give Todd a piece.
That's
Here
right.
he is now. Bama Zack.
Welcome to ZTV 11 Sports, brought to you by KFC, the best fried chicken in Athens and Limestone County, and also by Applebee's Tailgate Talk. Listen to us 10 to 12.
Who's y'all's
every
guest this
Saturday,
week?
WKC. Coach Gene Stallings will be a guest, so we're very excited about having Coach on, and going to have a lot of new local coaches on Saturday too. So
Hey, I got
everybody
a
listen
question
in.
for you and your mentor, Tim Lambert, down there. I was reading on AL.com, since the success of SEC Media Days, and everybody kind of has a Media Days thing, they do a high school Media Day in Birmingham.
Yeah, it'd be good if
Why
they
don't
did
we
one.
start that here next year?
That would be something.
that would be
Be good to get
I
all the
saw
local
that.
coaches.
That would be
See,
nice.
there I am giving you yet another idea.
I will talk to the Limestone County AD, Rusty Bates, and see if we can maybe work something out about
Oh,
that.
speaking of that, I saw this on Channel 48 this morning. Wade Lipson passed
Yeah,
away.
Wade, I was gonna
Did y'all know
mention
Wade? Wade Lipscomb passed away. Wade's first job at teaching was at New Hope High School. Back when I went to school there, and he was a great friend of mine and my two brothers. And I think he lived out there that way too also, but Wade passed away. He was, what was he, Zach, over the school system in Huntsville?
He was former AD of the Huntsville City School System, former athletic director.
There a long time.
So yeah, sad day. I saw that come up on my phone yesterday. So remember that family. Any thoughts and prayers? Alabama, they top the SEC power rankings, of course, and Georgia and Auburn are right behind. So we'll see how that goes, because Alabama starts practice Friday, and like I said, let the battle begin between Tua and Jalen. So we'll see what happens.
All right, Zach, if you had to make a prediction right now, who are you going with?
Well, if it was right now, because he had been hurt, it would have to be Jalen. But by the end of the practice, it's
Practice
going to be
starts
Tua.
Friday.
Practice starts Friday. When we start the first game, it's going to be Tua. I mean, everything we heard during the season about Tua, all the receivers were in sync with Tua, but Jalen was always getting playing time, and he never got the ball except to Calvin Ridley.
Well, isn't it kind of funny?
So-
Did you send me that he is the favorite to win the Heisman Trophy, yet he's not even the SEC
Yeah,
first team?
Yeah,
He sure is.
I
He's up there
really
with all
believe
of them. All the
and I was
quarterbacks.
behind Jalen, but I believe it's going to be Tua. I really believe it's going to be
Jalen
Tua.
to start. I believe he'll
But-
start Jalen because, he's staying and he did miss practice. Tua missed practice, and Jalen's, he'll start him and put Tua in there. They'll both play.
graduates
this Use them year.
Yeah, they'll both play, but I believe he'll start Jalen.
Alabama Fan Day will be this Saturday coming up, so
You going?
chance. I don't look like it. I got some family things. They're having my cousin Shelly having a celebration for life for her at Bertie Thornton Saturday, so I'll probably be there. And Auburn's Fan Day will be next Saturday. So anybody wants to go watch practice and get some signatures, you can go. Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers are trying to become the first team to win 4 straight ACC titles since Florida State. We'll see if that happens. Hey, Auburn got them a new quarterback, and they put him on scholarship. I was talking to Brad about it. Cord Sandberg, who was 2013 Mississippi State signee, spent the last 6 years in minor league baseball. So 23-year-old and going to be on scholarship playing for Auburn. Dirk Nowitzki will play his 21st consecutive season with Dallas Mavericks, setting a new NBA record. Nobody's ever done that many years. And then finally, MLS Soccer is wanting to show off Atlanta. They said soccer has got so big in Atlanta, they have went crazy over soccer. And there's talk that Nashville might be the next team down south getting a MLS team.
Read that
Back
stat I highlighted for you, Zach. What is the number of attendance
They have in its debut season, they shattered the league record by averaging 48,200 per game, more than double all but three other teams. They have went crazy. Everybody talks about going to Atlanta to see a soccer game instead of the Braves, which there was a lot of trades in baseball yesterday, and the Braves made a couple. Hopefully help them out.
I got a question for
Jamie.
y'all. All right. What great American made this statement right here? This wasn't like discovering the light bulb. The bulb was already there. All I did was screw it in the socket. Who said that?
Heard that before. Saw it on
Probably
Facebook.
Nick Saban.
No.
That would have been my answer.
Michael James Jim Delegati. What did he invent? He just turned 50 years old this week.
Delegati. Pizza?
No idea.
Close. The Big Mac.
The Big
The
Mac.
Big Mac turned 50 years old a couple of days ago. The iconic Big Mac turned 50. He actually invented that. And they told him the only way they would use that if he used every ingredient had to come from within the store. The only thing that didn't come from a McDonald's franchise store was the sesame seed bun because the meat kept slipping out of the burgers. So he went to a local bakery down the street.
Only you would know this whole story.
And got a sesame seed bun and put that on there.
Huh. I didn't know that. That's
Did your
informative.
reading this morning, didn't you?
Man,
Dr. Jan White was going to be with us, but she woke up kind of
Under the weather.
not in under the weather, couldn't make it this morning. So I got to thank
She'll be missed.
Alan James being here.
Oh,
yesterday,
wow.
And all the great comments on this
Yes.
book yesterday. We're going to start trying to do more interviews like that when we spend kind of a whole show like we'll do with Dusty today on his. But this was a great book, and you can get it. And your mom and dad liked it, didn't they?
My
Zack?
mom
Story,
just
interview?
felt so. Alan's going to drop a book up here at the TV station. My mom just could not believe what he had to live in.
One
And like I
thing-
said, that's only part of the story.
One thing about the books, he's selling them for $15, and he said, I know that's a little bit high. He said, but every time you purchase one of those books, we give a book to the detention center. So you're actually buying two books, and you're giving one to a very
Well, now
special
soon
place.
you will be able to place your orders
Oh, you haven't even
for that
started yet.
long-awaited.
You just like to say ideas out
How
loud.
many years have we
but-
been talking about that, Brian?
Exactly.
Yeah, but I
Thank you,
pulled the
Zack.
scripts on my book.
Yeah.
Mine's going to be a coffee table.
So he
book.
went to step 2. So we still have about 8 more steps to
I've been
get
up here-
through.
I pulled all the scripts.
I've been up here about 10 years, Jamie. You've been talking about it for 10 years.
Oh, you
There you
did
go.
find the
There you go.
first draft?
We have the
There you
first
go.
draft.
In the Rover Museum, Brad said.
Yeah, the Rover Museum. I remember that.
Well, I'm
We
still
have
going to do the
tours.
Rover Museum too, and we're doing now. You know, everybody's doing a trail. You can do the Muscle Shoals music trail. You can do the barbecue trail. We're going to do a country road trail. I'm going to draw out, and it's going to start in New Hope.
Okay, yeah, right. When's the last time you were in New Hope?
About 3 years ago.
Okay.
3 years
It's
ago.
about like that book time.
But I'm going to do
You
it.
need to do it.
Sure.
When I quit, when I cut back some on my work schedule.
Okay, yeah.
When you go back to half a day, a week.
Hey, thank you, Dusty.
He's already come back in 3 days.
Something up here with you, but I'm going to do it. The book, you can rest assured, the book will be there.
Yeah, you need to do it.
What?
Ask Dusty how to really do a book.
You need to do it because somebody encouraged me to do it. Brian Passy.
Well, Brian,
I wouldn't have done it if Brian hadn't kept at me.
when Brian passed
Definitely.
away, he was working with me and recorded all these conversations and stuff. And
You know, I have that.
but I ain't doing a book like that anymore. Since he
Oh, it's
passed
not a book
away, I
about you.
don't have nobody to help me. Why don't you start writing all my stuff down for me?
I already know too much of your
What
stuff.
you do a children's book, Jamie,
You don't want to hear
Do a
her book.
children's
I don't wanna
story.
hear- yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'll.
with pictures.
Children's book. Hey, I need to run a few commercials this morning, so let's get started right now. Y'all hang on. We'll talk about that later too this morning. Okay. All right. Dusty's back in action. We're going to talk in the next half hour about he's going to do his testimony this weekend. A lot of you folks already know that, but he's going to. Before we do that, though, there's a tragedy happened in Athens this week, and Dusty, some relatives of yours actually. I talked about it in Sunday school, described a little bit because I had met Billy Christopher about 3 weeks ago down at Amy Horton's place, and he introduced me to his son Chevy, who was with him. And I want to say that he took a picture of me and Chevy, and he said, "Chevy, this is the man that your grandmother watches on TV every day." And Chevy said to me, "Oh, you come on early." You know, I talked to him for about 10 minutes, I guess. But,
Chevy's 10 years old.
Yeah, he was 10. So what happened in this tragedy Sunday here with this great family in Athens?
Well, Jamie, it is a tragedy, first of all, and there's just really no explanation. You know, one of the things about suicide and the way that this went, the way that this happened is, you know, everybody wonders why and what happened and all that, and there's really no answers to that. You know, who knows what goes on in a person's mind, a person's heart. You know, we all have depression at times, I guess, and get discouraged, but some people really get so depressed and, you know, I don't know, there's things happening in life. And so, Billy, I don't know what Billy was thinking, the rationale behind that, and, you know, we can't comprehend it. There's no way to comprehend it. I can't even imagine. I was talking to Cliff and Pam. I were over at their house Sunday evening, and just talking with them. There's no way you can imagine. You know, you try to put yourself in people's situation, and you just can't. It's beyond comprehension of what happened and the tragedy that happened there. And so, you know, they're distant kins of mine, you know, probably second, third cousins. My mom and Cliff's dad were first cousins. And so, anyway, I was over there with them, and just devastation and the grief and the pain that they're feeling is just unbelievable. And
I mean, you can't even imagine it. And I've had people close to Billy say, you know, I'm trying to deal with this. I'm trying to understand what he was going through. And I was like, stop it. You're not going to be able to get to that point.
That's exactly right.
You're going to drive yourself nuts.
You know, you just have to just, you know, think about what happened, and it can happen to anyone probably. And so people get in a frame of mind of just a mentality, and sometimes it's a mental illness type thing. Right. You know, Billy was going through some things evidently, and so, but one thing that Cliff was sharing with me, and I know too, that he loved his mom, he loved his son, and so it's just again, you don't understand why and all of that. So, but it is a great tragedy, and that's why, to me, that's why you need a church family. You know, in times like these, you need a church, not just going to church, but you need a church family to come alongside of you, to nurture you, to pray for you, to love on you, to cry with you, be a shoulder there. And I don't know how people who don't have church family or not have Christians even, how they deal with things like this. It's just devastating, even as a Christian. And so Cliff and Pam are Christians, and, you know, Betty Sue and just the good people. And so it's beyond our comprehension, and we just have to trust the Lord in times like these, lean on Him by our faith. And our faith's what gets us through. It really is, day by day.
As a pastor and friend and relative, but just a relative, but as a pastor, how do you go in and what do you tell a family like this in a situation?
Well, you don't really tell them anything. You go in.
Or you share with them.
Right, you share with them, but you go in and love on them. You just cry with them, you hug them, and just tell them, I'm here. You know, if I can help in any way, and that's what their friends are doing, their relatives are doing in church, is rallying around them and just support them. There's no words. I don't have the words to tell them why or anything like that. I don't think anybody does. You know, God's word is what we have to lean on. And He says He'll always be with us and never forsake us or leave us. And so I draw strength from that. My faith is where my strength is. And when I don't understand God's hand, I trust His heart. And so that's the way you get through it. It really is. And so I just share with them, you know, that's the way God ministers to me, that sort of stuff. But,
and pray it doesn't break up families, because you're going to have some people that are people that were close to Billy and love Billy, and then you're going to have people that are mad for what he did, and there's going to be some family arguments, more than likely.
And you know, that's a natural response. You know, angry. I'm angry.
Yeah.
I'm angry at what happened, and you imagine what Cliff and Pam and, you know, that family is going through, and, you know, that they're angry. Why would he do this? You know, but, you know, all of those emotions and all of those things you're dealing with in tragedy like that, it takes time. It's just day after day, one day at a time. And you get through one day and you look, you know, just look to the next and move forward. You know, all of us have experienced some type of loss, not in that degree or that capacity by no means, but any loss that we have, we grieve. My dad, my brother, you know, and your mom, and just on and on. You grieve, and each day you get stronger in the faith, especially when they're Christians and you know where they are.
And you know you're going to get to see them again.
Right, that's right. That's the hope that we have in our salvation.
Yes.
Go back to the one thing you talked about. I too do not see how people survive not having a church family. I mean, if something happens in our class, for example.
Right, exactly.
I mean, people are right there.
Right.
Yeah. You know, Gloria
And they
puts
let you
that
know they're there.
prayer list out. I read it, you know, I'm on that email and read that, and I'm seeing up front how you guys pray for each other. Just, you know, anything, you know, just, you know, loss of Zahara. You know, that's a thing that was dear to your heart. So people pray for you during that. And it's things like that the church, you know, people look at church as just a place to go and all that, but church is a life. Church life.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why we call them connect groups, because you connect to each other. And that's why people need to be in a connect group, because you're connecting life to life and you minister to one another. And so I would challenge anyone that if you're not in a Sunday school class, connect group, life group, whatever you want to call it, you need to be in one, because you never know when it's going to be your day.
Yeah, it don't matter what church it is, whether it's
That's
Lindsay
right.
Lane, Clements, or Zack Church, or whatever it is. I mean, there are churches all over the
Sunday
place.
school
That's
classes,
exactly right.
There's room for everybody.
That's right.
And when someone has an issue that they're going through at that time, you may not know someone else in that classroom is going through it too. And if you feel comfortable enough to share it with the people in that class, we've had some amazing discussions in our class about a lot of things.
Some of you wouldn't want to hear what I said.
Yeah. You know, and that's the thing about sharing
It
my
helps
testimony. You know, most people out there have never gambled or not gamblers, but addiction is addiction. And what you're going through, you're exactly right, Gloria. Somebody else is experiencing the same thing, maybe not on that level, but on that vein or that venue, they're going through the same thing. And so when you share your testimony, it affects a lot of people, because everybody's dealing with something.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's got skeletons in the closet, and everybody's dealing
Like
with
John
something.
Dees used to say so often, and I'm sure he still is over at Cross Point, you're either going into a storm, in a storm, or coming out of a storm.
Coming out of a storm, that's exactly right.
And
That's
you're
a good way
doing
to
About
put it.
life.
All right, let's take a break right now. When we come back, we'll talk about Gambling with Eternity. You folks show up this Sunday at Lindsay Lane Baptist Church. I guess we're still at 10:30 since we haven't changed any time since you've been gone.
Right, 10:30.
I know everybody ain't been there that's been there on a regular basis, so we need to call them out to be there
right.
this Sunday. So we got all that
Pastor's
going on.
back.
Anyway, y'all stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment. Y'all hang on.
Welcome back on this Wednesday morning, almost a Thursday, but 70 degrees out there. Going to be a beautiful day until, of course, the rain gets here. 40% chance of those showers today, but there is a chance for rain every day for the rest of the 7 days, I guess, as you'll say, for a week rather, and that's about a 40% chance. Welcome to summertime and 80s. We're going to enjoy that, and I hope you've been enjoying these 60-degree weather morning. It's been nice. SaveWithGloria.com. Check it out.
Well, it's good. You know, some of us didn't get a whole month off. We had to be back at work. Started back Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays this week.
And couldn't wait to show up for this abuse.
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays.
Yeah.
You work 3 days.
Well, I was doing 2.
I know it.
I was on my summer break.
That's why you don't need a sabbatical.
That's on my summer break. Hey,
summer
I
hours.
live a sabbatical.
I know.
live a sabbatical. I mean,
Well, you
we'll talk
blessed.
about it.
You're
You're back.
blessed.
Today is officially your first day back.
It is.
Your
It
first
is.
day back.
First day back. Looking forward to it.
What is the definition of a sabbatical for a preacher?
A sabbatical comes from the word Sabbath, which means rest. And so sabbatical is a time of rest, renewal, relaxing. It's getting away from all the stress and the things that you deal with on a daily basis. And so, you know, when I was at Lindsay Lane 20 years, they gave me a sabbatical. That was one of the things they gave me when I was there 20 years. And really what happened is when I came back off of that sabbatical, they saw a difference in me. And they said, you need to do that every year. And so I said, okay, let me pray about that. Okay. And so I did, and it really has been so beneficial. You know, there are pastors that get 3 months sabbatical.
Really?
Is that what you asking for in your
No,
next
I'm not.
contract?
I wouldn't even want a 3
Oh,
months
that's Tim
sabbatical.
Anderson. I forgot.
Yeah, Tim Anderson gets that. No, I don't know. But anyway, it's really beneficial. You know, and I know everybody, you know, say, well, I wish I had a month off and all that, you know, and that's just, I think it's a blessing from God. It really is. But it's very beneficial when you have to deal with a lot of different stressful things that people don't understand behind the scenes. And it just kind of builds up. And so that month, I look forward to it every year, just to do some things that I hadn't been able to do, like these projects at home. And most times I'm on a mission trip in July. I was in Africa last year. And so a lot of times I use it for that and vacation with my family. But this time is just really some home projects. But the purpose of it is to relax. I get to visit other churches. And get new ideas. That's one of the beneficial things about the sabbatical is I visit other churches, see some things that I think might be applicable at Lindsay Lane, and so my staff kind of gets stressed when I go on sabbatical. But anyway, it's really beneficial for Patsy and I. We've been together, you know. And
Just had an anniversary, didn't you?
yeah, had an anniversary in July. It's always on the 20th, and so that's been great
Good day
too.
to remember.
Yeah, we were on the river that day with my grandkids.
You know, when a pastor has, like you said, things behind the scenes that we probably don't realize how much goes on, most of the time when people call you when they're in a situation, it's not just a happy, great thing that, you know. So, I mean, how do you keep from getting depressed, hearing everybody's depressing trials that they're going through?
Yeah, that's a good question, because you have to, and again, you have to really understand, you know, the purpose of why I'm called. You know, God's gifted me in that area just to listen to people and deal with that. But there again, in my own life, I have issues like everybody else, and so I have to
No, you don't. You got good
compartmentalize
kids.
those things. And
But, you know, we've seen Patsy, we've seen Haley, we've seen Joe Dare all go up to the altar and they're crying too. And when that happens, it just kind of breaks your heart.
So what could
too.
be wrong with them?
Because it's like,
Yeah.
you know, but everybody has it.
Yeah, you do.
Situations.
But, you know, the way you deal with it, you just let the Word of God minister to you. And so, you know, one of the things, the way I look at that, Gloria, is that I know that I'm called to do this. If I wasn't called, I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. And at the end of the day, there's some days that I go home and I am mentally worn out. Because Patty say, well, how'd your day go? I don't want to talk about it. The last thing I want to talk about is church on those days. And so it's just, you know, that the sabbatical helps you kind of get away from that, look at it from the big picture, and then you go back refreshed and renewed and say, hey, let's go.
All right. Speaking of that,
All right.
several people have approached me at church
Okay.
and wanted to know, you've got this new vision that you're going to lay on us in a couple of, next week after
Next
this,
Sunday.
I
Can
think.
you
3
give
weeks.
us a hint?
Yeah.
And people have asked me, because I guess they think
They
I
think
hang
he
around
knows
with
the
you or know
inside.
you or something. They said, what's Dusty about to tell us? What, I know you know something. What's he gonna share with us? I said, this time, I don't have a clue.
Well, Lindsay Lane has been built on vision. Dr. Earl Trent was there when I came in 1992, and he taught me about vision. And I'm going to share some things in this message week after next about vision and how really what God did in my life there at Lindsay Lane. But, you know, we've had a vision there at Lindsay Lane. I've been there 26 years, and so in our staff retreat, we talked about it, and a lot of new people have come in. They don't really know all the Lindsay Lane story, where we are at this stage. So I got to praying about that, and we discussed it, and I said, you know what, I'm going to launch a new vision and really continue the vision that we have, but update the vision. And so what you're going to hear the next 3 weeks after this Sunday is an updated vision of what we need to be about at Lindsay Lane and what God's called us to do and to be. And it's the vision from not only today, but for the future. And so, and I have it in 3 E's, call it the 3
What
E's.
is it?
The only thing
What is it where I can,
Okay.
we'll get
only
it right.
one thing that I know about is there's going to be another Lindsay Lane eventually.
Yeah, that's right. We've launched Lindsay Lane East, and one of the visions that I want to do is launch a Lindsay Lane North, West, or South.
I was trying to get
But-
them
Oh,
to say
northwest
which
or
one.
south.
Preferably north. We're looking at
Okay,
somewhere in
north.
the north area to launch another church. And God's really blessed Lindsay Lane East, and so we can see the benefits of that. And so that's the way you grow, too. You got to launch new work. Just like a new class, a new Sunday school class grows quicker than the older classes because it's new and you're reaching more new people. And so anyway, the 3 E's is equipping the saints, evangelizing the lost, and engaging the church. That's the 3 things we're going to talk about next 3 weeks. We're going to talk about them in connect groups. All the connect groups have the same thing, and I'm going to just preach on those same things. So we're just using the month of August as Catch the Vision month. That's why the sunglasses and kind of get everybody focused. Junior didn't put them on. He's supposed to put them on.
Well, he held them up.
He held
them up in the beginning.
He
All right,
did.
let's talk about you are back. You've been gone for a month, and we know how hard you did actually work.
We worked
saw
hard.
you in
Physically
action.
work.
Well, football season starts a month from today, so we're all happy for that. All the SECers anyway. Gambling with Eternity, your book, you're going to do your testimony. Now, when you do your testimony, do you go through the whole thing?
No, it would take too long to go through the whole
How,
thing.
I hear people come up all the time and say, well, I knew Dusty when he was gambling or when he wasn't. He wasn't always the way he is now, but they could relate to you. And gambling's about to be legalized all over the place.
Right.
Mississippi today just legalized sports gambling at their casinos over there.
Yeah.
How bad was you?
Well, it was pretty bad. I mean, I don't know, what scale or whatever, but I know it was pretty bad because it almost took my life. I was very suicidal.
But you thought you was rich.
Oh, yeah. I thought I was going to get, it's not really that. It's not really getting rich. It's just, to me, it was the competitiveness of it, the winning and being competitive. Because every game, you think about it, if let's just say the last 2 teams in the whole 162 conference were playing each other, who would want to watch that? But if you got $1,000 on it, it's like the Super Bowl. I mean, it's just so exciting, and you don't care who's playing. You just want to, you got that bet. So that kind of enhanced, your competitive spirit, and so that's kind of any addiction. You can get addicted to eating. You can get addicted to, to lust, pornography. All of those feed that desire, and I had a desire to win and be competitive. So that's kind of where it starts. And then it gets out of control.
Actually came through your mind. You thought about it.
Yeah. I gambled all the time. That was always on my mind. It came before God, for Patsy, for anything. It was number one thing in my life.
I mean, I don't understand. How do you gamble when there ain't nothing? You think only on weekends you could do that.
No.
Was there something to do during the
Every
week
day.
too?
Oh,
Pitch
yeah.
quarters.
Again, when the NFL went on strike, I gambled on horse racing. Didn't know anything about horse racing. Remember Aladar and the Firm?
Yeah.
I gambled on those 2 horses. I remember those. And I gambled on Ernie Shavers and boxing. Because that was just something you gambled
This
on.
was
Again,
on the
it didn't
internet.
matter. Yeah, that's when you couldn't bet on NFL at the time. And so it was like Saturday is college football, Sunday's NFL, and Monday night football. Those 3
So
venues.
about how many years did this take place?
About 8 years, a little over 8 years. I graduated in '71, and that's kind of when it started, when I was a senior in high school. I'd play cards during football. Back then, you didn't go home. You stayed at school on game days, and so I'd play cards. I always kept a deck of cards in my pocket. And so I'd take those guys' money, their lunch money. And I was good. I was good at playing cards. I just really was good at it. And so I played. That was one of the things I loved doing, was playing cards. 7-card stud and all that kind of stuff. And I played it on Sundays. I'd go off Sundays, come back late Sunday night. Just things like that. And then the other was just, I got introduced to betting, with the bookies when I was working at Greenbrier Gin when I was going to Calhoun. So I got introduced to that, and first time I bet, I won $250. First time, ever
Now,
tried
I
it.
wonder if a bookie just kind of sucks you in that way.
No,
They don't?
They really don't. But I just got lucky,
Okay.
But it was the worst thing that could have happened.
Yeah.
If I'd lost $250, I might not have that testimony.
Do it again.
But anyway, it's great that God never wastes your past.
Right.
See, so I got a testimony because I've been through a test. But gambling is just something that's like any other addiction.
So on the night, was it the Falcons that got beat? On your fateful night?
Monday Night Football. That was October 30th.
Tell us what happened. Everybody knows today. October 30th, 1979.
Now, wait, I've got a question after you tell that.
Now,
All right, go
you're
ahead.
living in a trailer.
Living in
You
a
and
trailer.
Patsy.
Paid for, thank God.
You and Patsy getting along great?
No, not at all. But anyway, She didn't know what degree I'd gotten to. She knew I gambled. I was, always gambling and all that. She knew that. But she didn't know, and I kept that from her. I would go to the mailbox and get these, what are they, from Pacific Finance and all those. I owed them. I borrowed so much money. I had like 4 or 5 different
So
finance
bills were
companies.
coming in.
Yeah, the bills were coming in, that's right. And so I'd go to the mailbox and get before she did and get them and hide them from her to that. But she knew I gambled. But anyway, that Monday Night Football was the culmination of losing big Saturday and Sunday. I was doubling up. I'd won the week before. I'm not going to say dollar figures, but I was down, and I won it all back. And that was a cycle. You lose, you win it back. You win big, you might lose some and all that. So I was, always ahead. Usually had a lot of cash in my pocket. But anyway,
big dog.
That Sunday night, Monday night, I'd lost big, and bookies were calling me and telling me they wasn't going to let me bet. And I begged them. I begged them. I got a bet. I'll get it. No, you can't. We know you can't pay us. They said that. We know you. I said, well, I got resources. I lied. That's one thing about it. You lie like a dog. But and I was good at that too. And so anyway, I did, and I lost, and then that was it. They said, well, we're going to get you.
So what happened that night?
That night was just I lost. It was a close game, Atlanta and Seattle. Jim Zorn was the quarterback for Seattle.
So you remember it like it
Steve Bukowski was the quarterback for Atlanta.
That goes way
and
back.
I had to give 3 points. I had to give Seattle because they didn't have a chance for the playoffs, but Atlanta did. Home field. I called over to Atlanta Fulton Stadium, got the weather forecast.
Really?
Injury report. I studied it, and so I knew the injury report. And so Atlanta had an all opportunity, but what I didn't know is Seattle had nothing to lose. They faked a punt, they faked a field goal, just stuff like that. And so they didn't have anything to lose. And so anyway, it came down to the last minute. Atlanta drove.
Now what's it like you're sitting there watching this game?
Now,
Oh,
is
it's
Patsy
horrible.
at home watching this game with you?
Yeah, I'm watching it, but she knows.
She knows
I'm
you bet on
terrible.
that
I'm just panicking.
Okay.
Because my life's really on the line for this game. It really is. And so I went out in my garage at halftime. I'll tell all that, but I prayed. And I didn't go to church. I didn't.
But
have
you
any
prayed
use
to
for God.
win that game.
I said, Lord, let me win this, and I'm quitting. You let
We've
me
all
win
heard
this,
that.
and I'm
Hey,
quitting.
we've all heard
probably
that.
I
made
knew
that
I wouldn't
prayer,
quit,
yeah.
but God knew it too.
For some
But
reason.
anyway, we go back, and Atlanta drives down. If they score, they win by 4 or 5, I believe it is. I can't remember. I didn't know the final score. But Seattle did win. It goes down to drives a 20. He threw a long pass. Back then they had on the 20-yard line, they'd have those marked that they would be like, and I thought it was the end zone. He threw a long pass. The guy catches it, falls over the 20-yard line. I thought it was the end zone. I'm jumping up and down. It says on the 20. So time's running out, and Steve Bukowski goes back to pass, and he could have walked in the end zone, but he threw a pass, and the Seattle guy intercepted it. I did know the guy's name that intercepted it. I can't remember now. You can
Your heart
Google all of this.
sank at that point.
And so I lose. And that's, that night was terrible. I was just,
Immediately
that's
when
why 3 o'clock in the morning.
Did the bookies call you that night?
No, they didn't call me that night.
So,
Okay.
3
they didn't
o'clock
have
in the
to.
morning, and everybody's heard the story. You go in the closet.
Yep. I get
And
up,
you had
go in
your
my
come to
closet.
Jesus
I have,
meeting.
I have a daughter, Haley, and then so I go in. I just wake up. I couldn't sleep. Patsy wasn't asleep either, and so I just go in the closet. I don't know why I went in the closet. I just did. I went in there and just started. I lost it. Started crying, weeping, and I just said, "God save me, God save." Because I saw the main thing is Patsy got saved 3 months before this. I was putting her through hell. I was. And so she got saved at Tanner Church of Christ and gave her life to Christ, and I saw the change in her life. She quit nagging me.
She literally told you she was giving you over to God and
Yes,
letting
she
you
said,
go.
I love you, but I've turned you over to Jesus. And I laughed at her, kind of, just arrogant and all that. But anyway, but I saw it. I saw a change. It wasn't that she was going to church. Something happened to her that gave her this peace. And so when I went in my closet, I didn't think about that. But when I was in there, I just started saying, God, save me, save me. And he did. And he did. I'm just telling you, I can't explain.
Was it easy?
No, it was just, that's all I said. And then when I came out of that closet, I was a new creature. I didn't have, it was just
Do you feel
something
like a
happened. I
burden
didn't know
was-
what it was. I didn't know what had happened. I just knew something. I told Patsy, I just got saved. I just got saved. I just couldn't.
Now you're in the closet crying in a trailer, which the walls aren't that thick, and she doesn't hear you in there crying?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay, so
yeah.
she got up
That's when
and-
she got up.
She probably locked
She came in the closet and I told her, I said, Patsy, I just got saved. I just got saved. She put her arms around me. We both squalled, and that's what a good wife does.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff, but
now-
she didn't leave me. She had every reason to leave me, and she didn't.
Now, how hard was it after that?
It was hard,
It wasn't just everything solved.
very hard, because I didn't know what was ahead. I didn't really. All I knew is that I had this new peace that I could deal with stuff now. I couldn't. I wanted to kill myself. Now I wanted to live because I had this peace. And so, first thing I did was call my mother and told her that I got saved. She'd been praying for me, and then she said, and I told her I'm in a lot of trouble. I owe a lot of money, and, all of that. She said, you got to tell your daddy. I said, no, you tell him. She said, no, you're telling him. So that was the hardest thing I had to do was tell my dad. And my dad helped me, took me to the bank.
Was your
And I
dad
took
saved
out a
at
loan.
that time?
Okay.
So he
was.
took you to the bank.
He said, no, you ain't got to pay him. Don't worry about it. I said, yes, you do.
He signed the note.
There was a guy in Athens that he's dead now, but they got after him pretty heavy. So I knew they meant business. And so anyway, and then the hardest part after that was Patsy and I were going to separate churches, and that was the hardest thing in our marriage that we had to deal with. So finally, God worked through that, and so, but from that day, out of my closet, I've never drank again, smoked, or gambled. Just
Right.
they just
Gave
took that
all
away.
up.
Not one single time have you done any of that since that day.
Well, you may call some things gambling.
Yeah.
Some people look at like fishing in a bass tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
Or a
that's,
golf
that's
tournament.
how people look at stuff, but I don't look at it that way. I know what gambling is.
You know what you were doing.
Right. And so, but I haven't drank any alcohol. I haven't smoked a cigarette since then. I did both of those pretty heavy.
You were able just to quit smoking.
I was, and it's just
Just like
what
that.
God did for me in
And-
that closet. Everybody, it doesn't happen that way to everybody, I
Right.
know, but those things He just took away. He
Yeah,
just took
because
away.
people mention to me, say, well, I've never had that dusty moment, I haven't had that. And then,
Now, cussing was a different thing. I had to wait a little while. I'd get mad, I had a bad vocabulary anyway, but I'd get mad. I'd say, not a real bad word or whatever you want to call it, but I'd say things. But I realized I was saying it. Before I
You
didn't
felt
even
bad after you
recognize it.
said
Yeah, I
it.
was convicted of it. And so eventually God just took that away. Every now and then I thank Him. I hadn't forgot how to cuss. So but he's taking it away. I just don't do it. There's other words you can say.
but you
Dead
used
gum.
that to eventually become a minister.
Yeah, that's a whole other story.
Wow.
That's 12 years later after I got saved. I was 27 when I got saved. I was 39 when I got called to preach.
How old was Haley when you got saved?
4.
Okay.
She was 4 or 5, something like
It's a
that.
great
So you
opportunity to
can-
turn that
Gambling
around.
with Eternity, you put this book out, what, 3, 4, 5 years ago? About 5 years ago?
Yeah, about 5 years
About
ago.
5 years
Brian
ago.
Passay, the guy in our church, he kept
Yeah.
saying, and I always wanted to, like you, I wanted to do it. I knew I should, but I just didn't. And he said, I'll help you.
It's
If
a
you'll
great
do it,
book.
I'll help you. And he did. And so I owe a lot to Brian Passay. He's in heaven. And so,
Good guy.
Tell them about the book. If you're at Lindsay Lane, you can get a copy, and I encourage you to get a copy. And it makes a great Christmas gift for folks, too. It's an easy stocking stuffer. Definitely is.
Now, for you folks that maybe not able to attend church, you can always go back and look at this on YouTube or something, and you can see Dusty's testimony here. But it's kind of
Encourage you to show
everybody in that church knows the date.
yeah,
All right,
they
now-
sure do. Everybody,
Okay. Now my
when I say it,
question-
now everybody just starts laughing because everybody knows it.
Now, why do you get so, many times if you told us, you're choked up right now.
Yeah.
Your first day back at work,
And you're making them cry.
you dang right I am. Because I'm saying,
It's real.
it still means that much to you this many years later.
Yes. That's the grace of God. And I've never forgotten that.
And that's
I've
good.
never forgotten where He found me.
And where He's leading you. And where you'll wind up.
How can other people get that?
Call on the name of the Lord, and thou shalt be saved. That's what I did. I got in my
That's
closet,
simple.
called on the name of the Lord, and He saved me. It's that simple.
And you don't have to clean up your mess before
That's
you
right.
ask
I tried
for
that. You know, I was thinking after Patsy got saved, I need to start going to church, you know, and I need to start doing this, and I wanted to.
Oh, when I quit cussing.
Because I was raised, you know, my mother wanted to raise me in church, and I went to church and all that. But I just like the world better. Mm-hmm. I just like sinning better than I like being good.
Ain't that the problem most of us
It
have?
is.
It's a lot more fun until you get
I
in
had a
trouble.
lady tell me one time, I was telling her about Jesus, and she said, good friend. I said, you know, she said, Dusty, I know I need that, but I'm just not ready because I like what I'm doing more. I've never heard anybody say that, honestly.
She was truthful, yeah.
She was.
truthful.
She eventually got saved, by the way. She's in heaven.
Good.
And so, but she told me that. She said, I just like what I'm doing better.
Like there's people sitting at home right now saying,
My
you know,
life's a mess.
I just don't believe that. You know, I want to find a church or I want to find God in my life. What do they need to do?
Well, you know, you got to realize first, before you can get saved and let God change your life, you got to recognize you're lost. A lot of people don't want to admit it, that they're lost and they're going to hell without Jesus. That's just a fact.
Why
You know,
shouldn't that not scare us more than anything? Because, I mean, that's forever.
I know it.
And painful.
You know, and I think, you know, there's a lot of invitations I give. Why didn't somebody come down? But I got thinking about myself. I was 27. Why didn't I sooner? And so you got to get to the place to where you recognize, hey, if I died today, I mean, I would go to hell. I mean, I would be separated from God. And so when you get to that place, when you finally recognize that, you need to call on the name of the Lord. You don't have to wait to get desperate like I did. You know, you got friends around you and family who are encouraging you to get right with God. You need to do that.
And when you get saved, it doesn't mean that you're never going to sin again.
No,
you're never
that's
going to
right.
do something wrong again. But at least you know where you're going when you
That's
leave
right.
here.
You know, you're not sinless, but you sin less.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
You know, none of us are sinless. We all have different things. Even now, you know, I can have a thought or just,
You
get
can't
angry
put down
and do
the
something, say
chocolate.
something. Yeah, that's right. Anything. You know, gluttony is one you all got to fight, right?
Yeah.
And so, but I'm not bent towards sin. I'm not a slave to sin anymore. You know, Paul deals with that in Romans 5 and 6. I'm not a slave to sin. So, you know, I don't habitually sin anymore. I have a propensity that's in me that I can sin, but my desire, my heart is not bent towards sinning anymore. It bothers me
You recognize
when I
it.
sin. That's how I know I'm a Christian. When I came out of that closet, I knew I was changed, and now I know I'm saved because it bothers me to sin. A lot of people, before, sin didn't bother me. I'd sin with the best of them. It didn't really bother me.
Yeah, I've done that too.
We all
But
have.
now it bothers me, and it,
Dusty
really,
That's
McLemore
good.
started his day early back at work today on August
Preached my whole
1st.
sermon for Sunday.
Preached the whole sermon. You can hear it again coming up this Sunday. Welcome back,
Oh, I
my
bet
friend.
you'll have
Thank you,
more in
Jamie.
there
I need to
Sunday.
say this. I need to say this, and I don't, you two are two of my dearest friends, and people don't know you guys behind the scenes. That's why when I voted for Gloria, I know Gloria Cooper behind the scenes, and people don't know that about y'all, how servants y'all are. These two people serve in our church, in our community, for no reason but want to serve and love on people. And I really respect y'all for that.
Well, I
Now you're
appreciate
going to make us cry.
Hey, I just wish my own daughter knew that.
Well,
Well, there's a lot of things we got to
Well, we
work
got to
out.
take a break for the day. We'll be
Both
back
sides.
tomorrow. We'll have more than one guest tomorrow, as I would yell. But hey, this Sunday, Gambling with Eternity, the loser wins. Dusty is back in action. So we'll see y'all there. If you're looking for a church home, we invite you to Lindsay Lane Baptist Church. There's always room up front.
That's right.
All right, we got to go. I got to run
Sit
some
with us.
commercials. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Bye-bye.